Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says startup culture is expanding to smaller cities, which is an indication of a bright future. In its Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister urges people to get vaccinated for COVID-19, reminds about the mantra of Dawai Bhi Karai Bhi. Over 63 crore 9 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Central Board of Direct Taxes extends deadline for payment of amount under Vivad Se Vishwas Act till 30th of September. President Ramnath Kovind inaugurates Ramayan Conclave in Ayodhya. Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur launches Fit India mobile application. And in Tokyo Paralympics, Nishad Kumar wins silver medal in the men's high jump T47 event. Vinod Kumar bags bronze in discus throw F52. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise the listeners not to lower the guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called upon the people of the country to strive to further the momentum the field of sports has gained through the recent Olympics and contribute whatever they can to promote sports culture in the country. He said the nation must garner expertise in a variety of sports, taking advantage of this opportunity. In his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio today, Mr. Modi said sports competitions should be held everywhere, including remote villages and other parts of the country, as it is only through competition that sports shall evolve. He added that this time the Olympics has created a major impact on the mindset of the people, and whatever India earned in Olympics may be lesser in comparison with the world, but enough has happened to boost the confidence and belief of Indians. Stressing on the need to accord permanence to this momentum, the Prime Minister said that it is only through collective endeavour of all that India can attain glorious heights in sports.
ओलंपिक ने बहुत बड़ा प्रभाव पैदा किया है। ओलंपिक के खेल पूरे हुए, अभी पैरालंपिक चल रहा है। देश को हमारे इस खेल जगत में जो कुछ भी हुआ, विश्व की तुलना में भले कम होगा, लेकिन विश्वास भरने के लिए तो बहुत कुछ हुआ। आज युवा सिर्फ स्पोर्ट्स की तरफ देख ही रहा ऐसा नहीं है, लेकिन वह उससे जुड़ी संभावनाओं की भी और देख रहा है। उसके पूरे इकोसिस्टम को बहुत बारीकी से देख रहा है, उसके सामर्थ्य को समझ रहा है और किसी न किसी रूप में खुद को जोड़ना भी चाहता है। अब वो कन्वेंशनल चीजों से आगे जाकर न्यू डिसिप्लिन्स को अपना रहा है।
Remembering Major Dhyan Chand on his birth anniversary today, Mr. Modi, while referring to Indian hockey team's performance in Tokyo Olympics, said, "Wherever Major Dhyan Chand ji's soul must be at this moment, it must be feeling overjoyed since it was his hockey that brought glory to India in the world." The Prime Minister said the mind of the youth has undergone a transformation and today's young minds shunning obsolete age-old methods and patterns and want to do something new altogether. They do not want to tread the ready-made beaten paths but want to carve out newer paths. Mr. Modi expressed confidence that in the coming days a large number of satellites will be those developed by the Indian youth. He added that similarly now young people are moving away from family traditions and expressing the wish to begin a startup and willing to take a risk. The Prime Minister said the startup culture is expanding even to smaller cities, which is an indication of a bright future.
आज जहाँ भी देखो, किसी भी परिवार में जाओ, कितना ही संपन्न परिवार हो, पढ़े लिखे परिवार हो, लेकिन अगर परिवार में नौजवान से बात करो तो वो क्या कहता है? वो अपने पारिवारिक जो परंपराओं से हट करके कहता है मैं तो स्टार्टअप करूंगा, स्टार्टअप्स में चला जाऊंगा, यानी रिस्क लेने के लिए उसका मन उछल रहा है। आज छोटे छोटे शहरों में भी स्टार्टअप कल्चर का विस्तार हो रहा है और मैं उसमें उज्जवल भविष्य के संकेत देख रहा हूं। अभी कुछ दिन पहले ही हमारे देश में खिलौनों की चर्चा हो रही थी। देखते ही देखते जब हमारे युवाओं के ध्यान में विषय आया, उन्होंने भी मन में ठान लिया कि दुनिया में भारत के खिलौनों की पहचान कैसे बने, और नए नए प्रयोग कर रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister also highlighted the need to create awareness about Sanskrit, saying it is a collective duty to cherish our heritage, preserve it and pass it on to the new generation. Mr. Modi also shared an audio in which a group of radio jockeys are talking in Sanskrit. They run the community radio initiative, Radio Unity 90 FM, and talk to the listeners in Sanskrit language.
Highlighting the importance of the cleanliness campaign, Mr. Modi said that today, when the country is celebrating the Amrit Mahotsav of independence, it has to remember that it should never let the resolve of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan diminish. He lauded Indore for its cleanliness drive, saying the city has created a special identity of its own in relation to cleanliness. He said now the people of Indore have decided to maintain a water plus city and are striving for it with all their might. The greater the number of cities which are water plus in the country, cleanliness will increase further. Rivers will also become clean. Mr. Modi also cited the example of the Sukhet model, which is being practiced in Madhubani in Bihar. The initiative has been successfully undertaken by the Dr. Rajendra Prasad Agricultural University and the local Krishi Vigyan Kendra. On Vishwakarma Jayanti, to be celebrated in the next few days, the Prime Minister said Bhagwan Vishwakarma is considered as the symbol of creative power behind the genesis of the world. He said even though skill is being recognized in a new way in the world today, our sages and seers have emphasized on skill and scale for thousands of years.
पूरी दुनिया सबसे ज्यादा हुनर यानी स्किल पर ही बल दे रही है। भगवान विश्वकर्मा की पूजा भी सिर्फ औपचारिकताओं से पूरी नहीं होगी। हमें हुनर को सम्मान देना होगा। हुनरमंद होने के लिए मेहनत करनी होगी। हुनरमंद होने का गर्व होना चाहिए। जब हम कुछ न कुछ नया करें, कुछ इनोवेट करें, कुछ ऐसा सृजित करें जिससे समाज का हित हो, लोगों का जीवन आसान बने, तब हमारी विश्वकर्मा पूजा सार्थक होगी। आज दुनिया में स्किल्ड लोगों के लिए अवसरों की कमी नहीं है। प्रगति के कितने सारे रास्ते आज स्किल्स से तैयार हो रहे हैं। तो आइए इस बार हम भगवान विश्वकर्मा की पूजा पर आस्था के साथ साथ उनके संदेश को भी अपनाने का संकल्प करें। हमारी पूजा का भाव यही होना चाहिए कि हम स्किल के महत्व को समझेंगे और स्किल लोगों को, चाहे वो कोई भी काम करता हो, उन्हें पूरा सम्मान भी देंगे।
In view of COVID-19, the Prime Minister reminded people about the mantra of Dawai Bhi, Kadai Bhi and urged them to vaccinate and to continue to take precautions. He said more than 62 crore vaccine doses have been administered in the country, but still people have to be careful and vigilant. President Ramnath Kovind today said that the values of Indian tradition and culture are contained in the Holy Ramayana, and the human values implied in the Ramayana will always be relevant for the world. He said that Ram belongs to everyone and is in everyone. He was speaking at the inauguration of Ramayana Conclave in Ayodhya. Speaking at the inauguration function, the President said that Ramayana not just tells about the ways to economic prosperity, but also the ways to lead humanity.
मैं आशा करता हूं कि केंद्र व राज्य सरकारों द्वारा इस क्षेत्र की जनता के प्रयासों के बल पर अयोध्या नगरी भविष्य में मानव सेवा का एक उत्कृष्ट केंद्र बनेगी, सामाजिक समरसता का उदाहरण प्रस्तुत करेगी, नैतिक व आध्यात्मिक संस्कारों के लिए प्रसिद्ध होगी तथा शिक्षा व शोध का प्रमुख वैश्विक केंद्र बनेगी।
The Central Board of Direct Taxes (CBDT) has further extended the deadline for the payment of amount under Vivad Se Vishwas Act without any additional amount by a month till 30th of September this year. The earlier deadline for payment of the amount under the Act was 31st of this month. Finance Ministry in a statement said that the decision to extend the due date was taken considering the difficulties being faced in issuing and amending Form Number 3, which is a prerequisite for making payment by the declarant under the Vivad Se Vishwas Act. Finance Minister has extended the last date to avail benefit of the late fee amnesty scheme from existing 31st this month to 30th November 2021. Earlier, the government had provided relief to the taxpayers by reducing or waiving late fee for non-furnishing Form GSTR 3B for the tax periods from July 2017 to April 2021 if the returns for these tax periods are furnished between 1st of June to 31st of August this year. More than 63 crore 9 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Health Ministry said more than 73,80,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. It said the COVID recovery rate in the country stands at 97.53%. More than 35,000 patients recovered in the last 24 hours.
To celebrate the second anniversary of Fit India movement and as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur today launched the Fit India mobile application. The Fit India app is available on both Android and iOS platforms and has been developed in such a way that it works even on basic smartphones. Launching it in New Delhi, Mr. Thakur said this mobile application will help monitor fitness, and through it an attempt has been made to show that fitness is easy. He urged people to download the application. The minister called upon people to give half an hour every day for fitness. The Government of India has issued guidelines for release and utilization of grants recommended by the 15th Finance Commission for rural local bodies and Panchayati Raj institutions for water and sanitation during the period 2021-2022 to 2025-2026. The Finance Commission has recommended over 1,42,000 crore rupees tied grant to panchayats for water and sanitation for this period. Ministry of Jal Shakti in a statement said that the grant will have a huge impact on ensuring these services in villages and thus on public health and quality of life in rural areas. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास, तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
Welcome back. You're listening to the evening news. The Information and Broadcasting Ministry is celebrating Iconic Week from the 23rd till today as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Doordarshan will telecast Azadi Ka Safar and the Saga of Freedom Struggle program tomorrow morning. Now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Today is the death anniversary of renowned freedom fighter and revolutionary poet Qazi Nazrul Islam. The versatile genius fought the British through his creative writings. Nazrul's opposition to the British rule started when he served in the British Army during World War I in the old Bengali 49th Regiment based in Karachi. It was in Karachi where he came under the influence of the Bolshevik Revolution. After the war, Nazrul returned to his native Bengal, determined to write and rally against foreign rule. Within a few years, he was influenced by the non-cooperation movement and became aware of the plight of millions of Indians.
The poverty and misery of the Indians would become an important part of his artistic consciousness and poetic oeuvre. Agnibina, a collection of Nazrul's famous poems from this period, are full of his newly awakened political consciousness. One poem from Agnibina is Bidrohi.
বল মহাবিশ্বের মহাকাশ ফাড়ি চন্দ্র সূর্য গ্রহ তারা ছাড়ি ভুলোকে দুলোকে দোলোকে ভেদিয়া খোদার আসন আরশ ছেদিয়া উঠিয়াছে চির বিস্ময় আমি বিশ্ববিধাত্রী.
Similarly, the Khilafat agitation made him realize the necessity and imperatives of a Hindu-Muslim brotherhood that would rise against the British. In November of 1922, Qazi Nazrul Islam was arrested in Calcutta, accused of sedition by the British government. In response to his sedition charge, Nazrul shocked the British by representing himself in court. Nazrul Islam worked for All India Radio, Kolkata. He acted in several films and wrote numerous songs. Nazrul Giti is a genre of his Bengali songs.
Qazi Nazrul Islam breathed his last on August 29, 1976 in Dhaka. In accordance with his wish, which he had expressed in one of his poems, he was buried beside the central mosque of the Dhaka University.
The death anniversary of a great freedom fighter, Haipo Jadonang from Manipur, also falls on this day. He fought valiantly against the British rule. The spiritual leader and political activist's quest for freedom brought him in direct conflict with the British. Jadonang was a staunch critic of the British rule and the changes happening in the region marked by injustices, labor, exploitation and taxation. His movement for the establishment of a Naga state was spearheaded in the North Kachar Hills, Manipur and the Naga Hills. He mobilized people and many Naga tribes against the British. He urged his followers to stop paying taxes to the British administration. Jadonang was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and composed a song in his honor. Jadonang was hanged on the banks of Nambul River in Imphal on August 29, 1931. His legacy was carried forward by his cousin and well-known freedom fighter, Rani Gaidenliu, who spent 14 years in jail for India's independence. The great son of the soil may not be with us today, but Haipo Jadonang's legacy of waging a fight against the British to do away with injustices and oppression continues to live on.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in next episode tomorrow.
In Tokyo Paralympics, India's Nishad Kumar has won silver medal with a best effort of 2.06 meters in men's high jump T47 event. Nishad Kumar also created a new Asian record with the effort. Rampal finished 5th with a personal best mark of 1.94. In another match, Vinod Kumar has won bronze medal with a best effort of 19.91 meters in the men's discus throw F52 event. Vinod Kumar also broke the Asian record with the effort. India has won 3 medals so far. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have congratulated Nishad Kumar and Vinod Kumar for winning medals at the Tokyo Paralympics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Nishad Kumar and congratulated him on winning the silver medal in the men's high jump T47 event at the Tokyo Paralympics. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur has also congratulated Nishad Kumar for winning the silver medal. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy skies with light rain. The temperature will vary between 26 and 33 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be around 31 degrees. Chennai is expected to have thunderstorm with rain. The temperature will vary between 24 and 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have generally cloudy skies with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The city will observe a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 33. Srinagar will have mainly clear skies, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 15 and 30 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The temperature will hover between 15 and 34 degrees Celsius.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says startup culture is expanding to smaller cities, which is an indication of a bright future. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister urges people to get vaccinated for COVID-19, reminds about the mantra of Dawai Bhi, Karai Bhi. Over 63 crore 9 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Central Board of Direct Taxes extends deadline for payment of amount under Vivad Se Vishwas Act till 30th of September. President Ramnath Kovind inaugurates Ramayan Conclave in Ayodhya. Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur launches Fit India mobile application. And in Tokyo Paralympics, Nishad Kumar wins silver medal in the men's high jump T47 event. Vinod Kumar bags bronze in discus throw F52. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.